Greetings and welcome to another episode of The School of Life. Today I'll be reasoning about improving your home as a renter and why. Are you a king or a queen? Do you feel that the quality of life that you live matches the quality of life that you wish for yourself and for your family? Do you expect somebody else to make necessary upgrades to your home and not raise the rent? Well, I'm here to tell you today that that's not very likely to happen for you. If you really believe that you are a king or a queen and you believe that you deserve a high quality of life, it will be up to you to make that happen for yourself. I have been a renter for most of my life, and as a renter, I have taken it on myself to do everything I can to upgrade the quality of the homes that I've lived in. And I've often been able to do that in a work trade kind of an arrangement so that I'm able to get a reduced rent for myself and for my family and focus the time and energy on improving the quality of my life and the home that I live in exchange for some portion of the money that I would have spent on rent. Simple improvements can be made to your home, such as painting a room or the entire interior of the home or painting the outside, up to much more complex upgrades, such as adding another room or doing a variety of other things that are structural to help improve the quality of the home and to fix things that are wrong as far as plumbing and electrical that are not doing so great. Before you do any work, though, it's always best to confer with the landowner, the property owner, and make sure that they are aware of and endorse your upgrades. Also, it's an opportunity for you to negotiate the cost of the repair. For instance, I've been able to do many repairs over the years in the homes that I've lived in and had the homeowner reimburse me for the materials that I purchased based on a receipt that I was able to then furnish after having purchased said materials. And I provide the labor for free, but in exchange, it comes as a reduction in my rent. Now, I live in probably the very most expensive county in the United States of America. It's Marin County. It's a place where the average rent these days is beginning at $2,500. And all of my life, I've never paid more than $200 a month for rent. Now, you may just say, oh, you're special, so this is the way that it worked out for you. But every single time I go into a living situation, I look at a place that actually needs some help, and my willingness to go and live in a place that needs help oftentimes opens a conversation with the landowner, the property owner, for me to say, hey, I'd like to negotiate my rent and try and do a little work exchange as part of the rent. Now, when I do this, I also say I will be willing to provide the labor for free, basically, or in exchange. But I'm going to ask that you reimburse me for materials because for me, I don't have a lot of extra money sitting around that I can invest in those materials. And when I do, then it's for something that's specifically for me, such as building garden boxes out in the yard. That's an expense that I'm willing to take on myself because I don't expect the property owner to pay me back for that kind of a thing. But when it comes to really upgrading the structure of the home, most homeowners are more than willing, as long as you know what you're doing and do an adequate job, they're willing to reimburse you for the materials that you spend to do those improvements. So, unfortunately, I have to say there's one downside, which is that when you do these kinds of improvements, oftentimes you improve the quality of the home to the place where they can then sell it for more than you can afford to pay. Now, this has happened to me a couple times, but I don't look at that in a negative light at all because for me, I think of all these improvements that I've done and all of these quality of life upgrades that I've done in the homes that I've lived at as opportunity to practice for home ownership. When you're a homeowner yourself, you will be expected to do many of these repairs or to hire somebody to do them for you. I prefer to do them myself because the more I do, the more I learn about how to take care of the home that I live in, and the less I am dependent on other people outside of myself to come and save me when something goes wrong. I'd love to tell you a brief story about something that happened to me in the home that I live in today. One December evening, I guess it was 2002, December 15th, I had been sitting on my couch, and right about 12:15 in the morning, I decided to go to bed. I was getting tired, and earlier that evening, my son had said to me, "Hey, Dad, I feel like a tree is going to come through our house tonight." And I suggested that he sleep underneath his bed, which I had built, and I had built it so strong that even a tree couldn't come through it. He did not, but that's another story. The most important part of the story is that right after I went to bed, there was an immense windstorm, about 70-mile-an-hour winds, which is completely unusual for where I live. And those winds took down a 140-foot tall fir tree, crashing all the way through my home diagonally, popping it like a milk carton and sending glass 100 feet out toward the street, and popping all the doors and windows open, and creating basically a funnel through which all the rain, the torrential rain from outdoors, came into my home, destroying everything that I had and the home itself. So, as a renter, I was looking at a situation of, well, now I've lost everything that I own, and I'm about to lose my home because now it's crushed by this huge tree. What do I do? Do I just walk away from this situation and call it fate? Or do I take control, take responsibility, and try and upgrade the situation, upgrade my life from here? So I called up the landlady. I said, "Look, a big tree just came through the house, 140-foot tall fir tree came through the house from the neighbor's property all the way across to the other neighbor's property, destroying their car as well as the whole house. And my options are very limited. I can't obviously live in the house the way that it is, but what I'm willing to do for you is I'm willing to rebuild this house using the frame that's already here and just basically fix up everything that broke, mostly the roof, but also a couple of the main walls were pushed out as well. And if you're willing to repay me for the materials that I use." And she said, "Well, of course." So I began right away by ordering two 10-yard dumpsters, pulling everything out of the house, gutting it, and then starting from scratch with a clean slate, basically as a renter, investing every bit of money that I had in savings, maxing out my credit cards to buy all the materials that I would need to rebuild the home, and going ahead and doing all this. When she got her settlement from the insurance company, she was able to pay me back for all the receipts that I had accrued during that time. I was able to pay off all the credit cards, get the money back into my savings that I had spent, and I got to live in this home again. It was a great opportunity for me during that time to make the upgrades that I wanted to have in the home as a result of many things being broken. Where the tree came through the house, I've installed a new window, and now I get more light into the home. In my bedroom where the ceiling collapsed, I lifted it up a little higher so that I can sit up in bed and read or do whatever else I like to do in my bed that requires to have a little space. I also was able to get new carpeting and get a nice new wood-burning stove for my home, which is the way that I heat my home, and many other upgrades that basically have made my life a much better situation. And rather than running away, I took advantage of that situation, which was unlivable, and created this whole new living space that I have many years later now been able to purchase from that property owner. And now I own all the work, all the hard work that I did to fix this home up as a renter. And now I'm the owner of this house. I understand how everything works because I built it myself with my own two hands after that tree came and crushed it. And so any repairs that need to happen at this point, I'm able to do those repairs myself. I'm not saying that you're necessarily going to be able to buy a house that you fix up, but at least while you're living there as a king or a queen, you're creating the quality of life that you wish to have. You're upgrading it to the place where you want to live. If you live in a pigsty and it's falling apart because you're expecting the landlord to do something about it, well, that's partly on you because you alone are responsible for what your quality of life is. You can choose to continue to live in that. You can complain about it and not do anything and hope that they don't raise the rent, or you can take control and put your energy into fixing the place that you live so that you have a better quality of life. I hope that you found this video informative, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If so, please like down below, leave me comments about what your thoughts and ideas are, and please feel free to subscribe to my page on YouTube if you like this video and would like to see more videos like it. Thank you and bless.